As Rocket League players, we have all experienced games where we sit back at the end of them and ask ourselves, what the heck just happened? So in today's video, we'll be delving into one of my own games where things go horribly wrong, and we'll be learning how you can turn some of your worst moments into your best lessons. And real quick before we do get started, if any of you are interested in some free coaching of your own, make sure you do check out my Discord, which is linked down in the description, as I do offer free coaching through there. So the replay we're going to be looking at today is from a recent 2v2 league match, and if you guys have been following along with the league match videos as they've been posted, this game might look a little familiar to you. In fact, this game is so bad that in that match video, there's a teeny tiny text box that pops up on the screen that just says, "Please enjoy the worst gameplay of my entire career." And even now, more than a week removed from this match, I still believe that statement to be 100% true. So, we are going to see exactly what goes so wrong in this game, and the overall point of this is for us to be able to identify these mistakes so that we hopefully think a little bit more about them while we're playing so that we can avoid them in future games. And honestly, right out the gate in the first 10 seconds, we're going to have two pretty fascinating decisions. Now, the first one isn't the craziest thing, and the first one is going to be right here as we land, committing for this corner boost. Now, I don't hate this idea because that ball is going for free to our teammates, but we do always, want to consider, hey, is it just better for us to rotate pads, get back a little bit faster, and be able to support our teammate a little bit easier? And in a position like this, although it doesn't really matter that we go all the way out here, realistically now, because of how slow our rotation back is, by the time we get back, we're not going to be able to be behind our teammate when this clear comes out. So now, instead of just, being back here, able to see what's going on and able to make a decision of do we want to push out or do we not, we're now stuck in this awkward spot where we have no vision into what's going on behind us, and we kind of have to make the decision of, like, do we turn blindly or do we just keep going back? Now, the smart thing to do would be to probably do a quick rear view check, see if anybody's there. If nobody's there, then we can turn, and if somebody is there, then we just keep going back on our merry way and allow ourselves space to be able to see what's going to be coming at us. But instead, we don't do any of that. We just blindly turn up the field, teammates landing just behind us on 0 boost, and we're forcing a very awkward challenge here that is immediately going to make our teammates' life rather difficult. And then, even worse, we don't pick up any boost on our way back, and now we are completely starved in this play. So, very rocky start there overall. Luckily, teammate bails us out. He's got some control. We are still not really looking for any pads here. We're kind of just driving around in no man's land now. We finally pick up some boosts. Let's see what we got here. Very awkward spin cycle we got going on in the midfield here. We are just pinwheeling on around. So we see teammate go behind us. At the point that we turn towards the midfield, when the ball pops off the wall from Archigron's touch here and goes this way, there's really no reason for us to, again, force ourselves into an awkward spot by trying to force ourselves back in the play. Again, we can give ourselves space, allow ourselves to see how the play is developing, and give ourselves a good angle to play from should we be needed in the future. But instead of just backing off over to here and giving ourselves space and taking a gander at how things are going, we try to cut back in, therefore cutting off our teammate who thought we were leaving, and now we just make things very awkward. None of us can go for the ball, and it's just a free touch over the top. And once again, we are doing absolutely nothing through the first 30 seconds except for continuously putting our team in bad spots. Another somewhat questionable clear, but it's not the end of the world there. Calmly waiting back. Good gosh, what is this touch? So you might be seeing what I meant when I said this game was abysmal. Because what is this? Bang! Right to the opponent. Genius idea, right? So we land in the corner. We get the boost. Teammate has a little bit of space, but he's on 0. The very important thing in a position like this is we need to be very careful at how quickly we get back into the net. Because if we get back to the net too soon and have to hit the brakes, then obviously when the ball rolls around the wall like it does, it's going to be pretty difficult to get up to it. But instead, if we are just maintaining a little bit of momentum all the way back, Then when the ball comes rolling around, we can utilize this momentum to just continue on to attack it and more than likely be able to get a better clear. But you can see throughout this play that we get all the way up to the near post at the time that this challenge comes out, and there's really no reason to, because if they do put this ball directly on target, if we're at the back post, we have that save no problem. From a spot like the back post, if it rolls around the wall, we can also attack that with momentum, and there's also nobody here in the midfield. So there's no danger of the ball coming into the middle either, so there's no reason that we need to be like pushed up on this play, trying to cut down space for something that hasn't even happened yet. It's just very risky, and now we have no space to get up to this ball, and it results in this incredibly bad touch. And then we're going to follow it up with some beautiful awareness. Oh boy, what a save. We are absolutely cooking right now on the defensive end. Let me tell you, we're doing great stuff for our team. So the ball kills. Both myself and the other opponent have gone for the back corners. He is approaching faster, and the ball is closer to him since it's gone slightly to the left side of the field. So because we're in this awkward spot, there is almost no reason to hard press this unless we are 100% sure we are going to win this. Because if we get too close and then at the last second realize that we can't do anything and have to bail out, we end up in the position we're in here where the ball just goes directly over the top of us, and it's really difficult to make the save. So I'd rather give myself a chance to be able to defend my net and just recognize, like, look, we're probably beat. Let me just play the net. And let me be ready for whatever they're going to do, and at least try to buy time for my teammate to get back, instead of absolutely full sending myself at this ball and getting absolutely nothing out of it. Just stay close to this. I don't mind this. This is rather awkward, though. And this is going to result in the next goal. Yeah. So the main issue here is that this touch coming backwards is just, you know, bad. Like, I feel like staying as close as we do to the ball is our real problem, because we recognize right here that we're not going to win this. So that's fine. We go commit for the boost, make sure he has none to work with. I don't mind that idea because the ball is just going to bounce off this wall, and it's not going to be overly threatening, especially with Zach not having any boost after what he's about to do. But when we grab the boost, we then just kind of sit behind the ball. Like, we need to make a split-second decision here that we need to just get over the top of this and play back to our corner. As quickly as possible, this ball needs to come to our corner with us. We cannot hang out here with the ball because we're just inviting a challenge from Zach, and it's going to make our life very, very difficult, as we see almost immediately. And then at the time that we get this awkward touch and the ball comes back with us like this, we're just trying to stay in front of it, which I don't mind, but because we have no momentum and we weren't able to get this ball to a safe spot and just kind of conceded possession to our opponents, we're still in a very vulnerable spot here, because any challenge that pops out into the midfield is really good for the opponent who's sitting out there. And it's also very likely in a spot like this that we just get bumped out of the play, and because we'll be getting bumped back towards our net, it makes our teammates' life very difficult as well in their attempt to try to play out to challenge this ball when it does bounce back into the midfield. So once we come back here, it might be better to swing around a bit wider and play back out in, like, towards the corner from, like, our near post area, so we can actually have an attempt to make a save, as opposed to just awkwardly sitting behind the ball and hoping something good comes of it, because in a position like that, something good is likely not going to come from that kind of position. So yeah, not great. The first minute and a half has been fascinating, to say the least, from us here. Luckily, teammates able to play it back into the corner. Again, we're hunting for a mid boost, putting ourselves in a really awkward spot. Like, why are we doing this? Where are we going here? We're now in line with the ball, so if our teammate wants to clear the ball down the line, we're directly in his way. A+ on positioning. Why not take any of the gazillion pads that are available over here and, again, rotate in behind, so that when this 50 plays out, we are in a spot to support him rather than ahead of the play doing absolutely nothing once again. We are completely useless through now the first 2 minutes. Honestly, that's very impressive. Very consistent, honestly. And throw ourselves at the ball. Yes, good. Not good if it wasn't obvious. Again, there's no reason to dive at this unless we think we're going to win it for sure. We still have plenty of time left. There's still just under 3 minutes. We're only down 2. There's no reason that we need to hard dive at anything. A fake challenge here will do just fine. Grab the boost, let him bang it. We'll take control after the fact. he's probably not going to be able to score from a spot like this. But when we dive in like we do here, now we leave our teammate back alone, and we make this position infinitely more dangerous. As we're going to see, well, maybe if we hadn't dove up the field and had been back to support our teammate, we wouldn't have been scored on, and we wouldn't be down 3 goals at this point. Very questionable decision-making all the way around so far. Doesn't improve at all. I hate to break it to you, we haven't even gotten to the part where I included that little text box in the match video, so don't you worry, it gets worse. Another dive. Want to make sure we add in another one of those. Swing on around. Awkward positioning again in net. We're just sat flat-footed on the goal line once again. We have more time. One of the worst things you can do in this game is be flat-footed in the net. Because when you do that, you are a sitting duck. And first of all, because of where we turn, we are sat in basically the dead center of the net. And the entire area behind us is completely open. If the ball gets over us, we're just very awkward and unable to turn effectively. Luckily, it doesn't look like they're structured to capitalize on this, but this is just really poor positioning. We had time to swing out a bit wider, and we could have again played with momentum through the back post, allowing us to more effectively be able to play this ball when it pops out. But instead, we're flat-footed, we need to use boost to gain our momentum back, and now we're down to only 5 boost. And it is just, honestly a bit of a disaster so far. But of course, our teammate is going to bail us out once again. So 2 minutes to go, and we're somehow still in this game, despite our horrid play. Which, is a testament to our teammate and his ability to carry us when we need him to. Now, this is the exact moment in the video where that text box popped up that just said, here's the worst gameplay ever. And I think every time that I go for the ball, in the next 30 or so seconds, I miss it. And it's either because I'm not positioned well before I jump, or I'm jumping for something I shouldn't be. So let's watch this through and let's really take a detailed look at this section of the game. So we jump here. We miss that challenge. I actually don't mind this, because if we do just sit on the ground, we're never going to make this save. The point of this jump is just to try to cut off all angles to the net and force this ball wide. As long as this ball doesn't go into the net on this shot, we're totally fine because Archigron is grabbing the mid boost, so our teammate will have time to get back on this ball. So this challenge is a-okay from my perspective. Unfortunately, we don't get a touch, but it's good enough. Just good enough, in fairness, to force the ball wide, but we do also secure the boost. Now here's where things get interesting. Yep, wow, great turn. So what exactly is happening here? So we see the demo, we go back into net because we think that we're going to have to defend. But then he starts a dribble, so we think about going out to challenge it, but then we don't want to get flicked, so we make a quick turn. But in the meantime, while we're turning, he's flicking and we're just completely beat anyway. So, in a position like this, we have to make a choice. Are we going to challenge or are we going to wait? There is no in-between when the ball is this close to our net, because if we try to do any kind of fake challenge, if he reads the fake, he just has a clean opportunity to immediately flick the ball over the top of us. So at this point, when we see he's that awkward, this would be the moment to go and try the fake challenge. If we were going to do it, it's right now. We boost across, we apply pressure, we do something. The second we back off to the net, we've made our choice. Now we have to lie in the bed that we've made, and if this is the wrong decision, then we get punished for it. Honestly, if we want to take as much control of the play as possible, we deny this space and make sure he doesn't have a play at all, so we force this right now. The decision to go back, very risky, very passive, and you can almost see that we know this game is not great for us, so we're trying to just limit our mistakes, but in attempting to limit our mistakes, we put ourselves in an even worse spot than we would have been had we just dove at this ball and tried to at least either force the 50, force him to do something force something in this play. Just waiting back is not gonna work, and yeah, very lucky that that ball goes off the post. So there's one miss. Here comes number 2. What on God's green earth is happening? Reminder, this is GC2 gameplay. I have peaked GC3. And yet, these are the mistakes that we are still capable of making when things get awkward. And again, it's because we're just simply getting too close to the play. We have 45 boost here. Yeah, we actually have 45 boost on our landing. So there's no reason to get too close. Instead of going out with the play this way, there's nothing wrong with just hanging out back here and recognizing, look, a 50 is probably coming. He's already up. Let's just wait a bit patiently and see what happens. And sure, we have to avoid this bump, but if we were over here instead of over there, look at how easy this is. Oh, simple. It's so easy. We possibly even can snag the boost on our way out, but instead we're backwards, we're flipping all around, we're trying desperately to get any touch we possibly can, and it is the most disgusting looking attempt to get a touch on the ball that I might have ever seen. Despite the fact that I've been bronze before, my attempts to make touches on the ball were better when I was that ranked, to be fair, than what I just witnessed. Finally, we get a touch on the ball, and it's again just poor awareness. We need to flick this thing early. Like, we honestly should just be popping this thing right now because Archigron is already coming forward. If we recognize that he is moving forward and we just flick this thing high up into their corner, we're gonna put ourselves in a fairly successful position. But instead, we try to bait him in even further, but when we catch the ball, we lose sight. So now we don't know where he is, we don't know our flip timing, and because of that, we wait too long instead of just taking the easy play and flicking the ball right now. And I think that's one of the biggest things when you recognize you're having a bad game. The most important thing that you can do is just try to take the simple play. If you're still trying to make the plays that you would make when you're playing like at your peak level, you're going to have a very bad time, as we're seeing here. If you just simplify your game as much as possible, you can still find success even if your touches are not coming off in the way that they normally do. Poor 50 though. Teammate, again, gonna bail us out. Thank goodness for teammate here, and let's miss the ball one more time for good measure, and then almost 50 it back into our own net. Once again, we're just rushing this. We're in a tie game. There's no reason for us to rush. Realistically, our teammate could go out to challenge this. We could get pads in behind him. He could get our corner boost. We could again have both players back. But by us driving out to the corner, again, look at the position we put ourselves in if we zoom out on this. Where's teammate? Landing near post, and now we're both here. So sure, there's no pressure on this, but teammate could have just had this boost and a free ball, and we could have been in behind him perfectly well. But instead, we're both over here, which makes things even more awkward, because again, we decided to cut rotation in a position where we didn't have to, and even worse, we cut the rotation, and then we missed the ball. Oh, and by the way, teammate's still on 0 boost because we took the corner. Fantastic decision-making overall from us. There's finally a decent touch. We're not able to quite get the double that we want, but it's not the end of the world. Let's follow that up with some horrendous movement and pad pathing once again, and let's immediately get punished for it. Where are we going? We get this pad. That's all well and good. Why are we cutting towards the play? Teammate's already over there. Let him handle it. Dodge the bump, sure, but then turn back, get back on this path of pads. Over here. Where are you going? Why are you going this way? There's nothing over here. You're now at a bad angle in the net. If you just came back here and grabbed this pad here instead, maybe this one too. I don't remember if it was here or not, but if it is here, you grab this one too. Grab this one, and if you're back post, again, angle of attack. Now we have more momentum coming across. We're able to force this ball out of the net easier, but because we're sat, again, flat-footed in the net, when we try to jump for this, we have barely any momentum. So sure, we get the save, but it's not good enough to get it out to any kind of safety because we have no momentum coming towards the challenge. So that's the big reason why we need to maintain our momentum moving in a net, so that when we have these challenges along the goal line, we actually have the momentum to be able to get them out of danger instead of letting them sit in a dangerous position like this. And then we just don't recognize space, because why would we in this game? Take ball cam off. Right here, ball cam should be coming off. We need to know exactly how far away Zach is. From this perspective, it's really easy to see the nameplate, but really hard to tell exactly how far away that player is. If we take ball cam off, we have all the information, and then we can toggle ball cam back on and make the play that we need to make. But when we just tunnel vision on the ball and like use our peripherals to look here, we don't know for sure where they are, and it's going to cost us in the decision making here, because instead of recognizing that we have all the time in the world, we just hard bang this thing towards the net, and it's not even a good bang. Like, if this thing is blasted towards the backboard, I favor our chances. But when we don't even flip into it and we kind of just get whatever touch we can in the position, it looks like this, and it does absolutely nothing, because it's just a very easy touch into a safe location. Sure, we're able to get in another challenge, but they are not in a dangerous spot there. They're easily able to clear it out. 25 seconds to go. Let's see if we can get anything else out of it. Forcing a play that's not there. This is another classic. You start to get desperate. You start to realize things aren't going well, and you just try to start forcing things that aren't there. There is no way you are getting this ball past the guy who is challenging you on the left side of the field. He is covering his net. There's no way you're getting the ball past him. You know where you can get the ball, though? Into open space where this boost is, and you can take it up the wall if you can hit this touch correctly into the ramp. But instead, you go for the immediate shot because you think going directly at the net is going to be your best bet, even though you still have time. I've said this countless times in my coaching sessions, but looking at the clock, we still have 21 seconds left. That 21 seconds is only useful for us if we actually utilize that time to do something good with the ball. If all of our decisions are just these panic plays where we just try to go directly at the net as fast as possible, that's exactly what the opponents are covering. So when we try that, they're easily going to get blocks, and this time is going to evaporate. So we need to make sure that even as the clock counts down, we still make smart plays on the ball and still look to put ourselves in the best position possible. Because that did not put us in a good position, and now it's just kind of panicking, trying to keep the ball up, and we're just simply not able to. But what the heck were we doing throughout that game? I'll tell you what, it wasn't much. And the biggest issues that we saw were us basically forcing things that weren't there, and then sitting flat-footed when we needed to be mobile. Those two things, as well as just our general movement around the field and like where we decided to go, pretty much were the main reasons we fell flat in this game. This is a game that was easily winnable. Despite being down 4-1 and playing some horrendous Rocket League, we were able to make a comeback, and more specifically, our teammate was able to make the comeback. But then because of our horrendous decision-making, we just never were able to get our feet firmly planted on the ground in this game, and it showed throughout. We just weren't prepared for anything that was coming at us. We weren't making smart decisions when we had time on the ball, and we simply handed away countless opportunities to our opponents because of our poor decision making. So if you guys have your own games where things simply go horrendously, I highly encourage you to take a deep dive into that replay and find out what bad habits might be sprouting up that are causing you problems. When we have games like this, the reality of the situation is that we're simply not thinking through what we're doing, and we're kind of just going on autopilot. And we've also mentioned this countless times, going on autopilot is one of the most dangerous things that you can do, because when you play without thought, you often make really poor decisions because you're not thinking about the consequences of your actions. So at all times on the field, it is very important that you stay locked in mentally on what you need to do in the immediate play that you're in. If you're thinking about something outside of the game, or something from earlier in the game, or in this case, something from earlier in the series perhaps, you are doing yourself and your team a massive disservice, because you're simply going to put yourself out of position over and over and over again, as we saw here. Of course, thank you everybody so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who made it to this point in the video, and I do hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below, so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, once again, if you guys are interested in some one-on-one coaching of your own, or perhaps you just like to be a bit more involved in the community we're building here, feel free to check out my Discord, which is again linked down in the description. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys. Thank you.